Ladies and gentlemen, Kocosports.com proudly presents Wrestle AM. It's half wrestling show, half morning show, pretty much all BS. And of course, you got half the Koco crew here holding it down live. Yours truly, the sexiest man on all Internet Wrestling Radio. That's right, boom, boom, here's Shake It Room, live from the RVA, Richmond, Virginia. And of course, join me there, way across the pond. He is the British beta to my American alpha. I'm talking about none other than LK. What's up, buddy?
I'm doing good, living the dream. It's strange, both of us actually doing it in the morning. You know, we call ourselves Wrestle AM, and we're finally doing it in the morning.
Yes, we always do this stuff late at night. Now we're doing it first thing. Oh my God! Actually, it's not that early. It's only about 9 o'clock here in the morning here in Virginia, which is actually kind of a late morning for me, considering I used to late when I work. I have to get up at 10 at night to work overnight, or get up at 4 in the morning to be at work by 5. You know, doing something this late. This is late for me.
That's fair enough. It's about 2 p.m. I've been up for about 2 hours, so I got up, had breakfast, and watched NXT, and I don't regret it. I actually kind of thoroughly enjoyed this week's NXT.
So what do you give it, sir? Do you give it a win, loss, or tie?
I'll give it a weak win. Out of the 3 shows that WWE produced this week, being Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, it was probably the best one out of them. But I think the hour helps. It just being an hour really helps. Because, you get in, get the stuff in, and then you get out, and you're finished. And I liked the Chris Hero stuff. I liked the Roode stuff. My girl won. Peyton Royce being. What else did we had? And we had a really good match with the UK guys. And I want to know if they actually start this UK tournament yet. Because it's really pissing me off because... Not the UK tournament, this week the UK TV show. I think they really need to go either all in or all out. Because you can't just have them on NXT every week.
Well, that is true. I think maybe that's what they're setting up for, because they want you to get, just in case you, well, for one, they're doing this to go, as somebody had made this comment, I saw it online, it's like, well, I didn't get a chance to watch the UK tournament, but after watching these guys go at it, I think I'm going to go out of my way to go watch that entire tournament, and I think maybe that's what they're doing. They're going to try to showcase a few guys, and then I think that, once you get the, people who didn't watch the UK tournament familiar with the product, I think that's when they'll move forward.
Yeah, so I guess if you look at it from that perspective, it's really good. I mean,
yeah,
I guess
another thing. By the way, what the hell do they do to you guys in England?
What do you mean?
By that I mean, whenever you have you're introducing wrestlers, particularly over here in the United States, it's always something like, well, when I was a teenager, I did some backyard wrestling. I played, football in high school. But over there in the UK, it's like, yeah, I've been in bar fights since I was 9 years old. I think I've actually got a legal kill on my record.
That's a lie.
That's
generally a lie.
I'm like, what the fuck?
That's generally a lie. There's just really good wrestling schools around here. There's really good wrestling schools in England.
Well, that was evident from this episode of NXT, but I'm going to give it a tie, and I'll tell you why, because I was actually like you. I was going to give it a weak win, but after I started reviewing my notes and, why, you were finishing up the product and getting set up, I decided to review my notes, and I started thinking about it, and I said, you know what, I'm just going to change it, give it a strong tie. It wasn't bad, but it was just missing a little something. We'll get into that here. The first thing we see out the gate is a 3-way for the NXT Women's Championship number 1 contender spot. So you have Ember Moon versus Liv Morgan versus LK's Australian internet wife, Peyton Royce. This actually, it was an okay match. I like the heel dynamic with the iconic duo, Peyton Royce and Billie Kay. Billie Kay being her cheerleader on the outside. I think it's actually kind of refreshing to see the snotty girls, but they're not trying to backstab each other. They're bad guys, and they genuinely don't care if one or the other becomes women's champion. I think they just want to get that championship, and then once they cross that bridge, then kayfabe-wise, it could come down to both of those girls. Maybe the jealousy would take over, but they're like, you know what, we've got a goal here, let's accomplish that first, then we'll worry about, between us, who's the best. Liv Morgan, who I will concede has gotten a little bit better, not by much, but gotten a little bit better in the past few weeks. And then my homegirl, Ember Moon, oh my God, she is so hot. Anyway, this was okay. It really turned into a one-on-one match because, I don't know, it just kind of got frustrating. Maybe that was the whole point. It got frustrating for me because Ember Moon got thrown out of the ring and kept getting knocked out. Every time she'd get back up on the ring, Peyton Royce would knock her out. She knocked her out 3 times by my count, 2 on one side and 1 on the back end of the ring. She never could quite get in there. But anyway, those two were tying it up. I like that. Oh God, I think it was a. Well, anyway, Billie Kay tried to get involved, and Ember Moon finally hit her with the Eclipse. She gets thrown right back out again. Peyton Royce hits that beautiful fisherman suplex on Liv Morgan, gets the 1-2-3. So Peyton Royce gets your win. Initially, I was mad at this, but then I remembered, oh yeah, this isn't for Takeover. I think what they're doing is, I mean, this is the only direction they could theoretically go here, because Ember Moon and Asuka have never tied it up. They've protected Ember Moon. They're building her up. They've had, Asuka kind of dismiss her. Asuka's run through everybody else but her. So to me, this is the only chance to go. So I know where they're going. I think the curiosity is not the destination, it's the journey for me. We know where they're going, but how are they going to get there? I think that's the interesting part to me.
Yeah, because you don't really want to have your challenger revealed for Takeover when we're still over a month away. So you have Asuka versus Royce. Everyone knows that Asuka's going to win that. And then you do Asuka versus Moon at the Takeover. And I liked the fact that it kind of protected Ember Moon, because then she wasn't involved. It wasn't her fault she lost in the apron, and Royce was just a heely bitch who kept knocking her back off. So I think they kind of did a decent enough to great job of protecting her. And, the NXT women's division, we were talking about, a few weeks ago, saying, where the fuck are we going to go? I think Royce and Kay have done a good job of building themselves up. Liv Roadman Morgan needs to find another profession. But, Ember Moon, you got Asuka, that's 4 to 5. Maybe they just... and they've got that Aliyah. They got Aliyah who could do something maybe in a couple more months.
Mm-hmm. They got Daria. They've got Mandy.
Nikki Cross.
Yeah, Mandy Rose. Nikki Cross. I mean, I was really worried about that, because after they called up Bayley, the last of the 4 horsewomen, I was like, it's Asuka. That's it. Who else have you got? I mean, they really hadn't brought anybody else in or built anyone up. So essentially, NXT started their women's division over from scratch. And I think under the circumstances, they've done a pretty good job. There's some girls that obviously need a little bit more work than others, but that's what they're there for. And plus, I need to mention a couple of news tidbits here about the women's division in NXT. One, reports are that Billie Kay possibly, I do stress possibly, suffered an injury at the last taping.
Oh.
There are reports where she took an Eclipse from Ember Moon, and then she was assisted by trainers that she was seen grabbing her neck and even crying. Let's just hope she was doing a really good job selling. So hopefully that'll take care of itself. Also, the former Heidi Lovelace has gotten a new name, and she apparently is going to debut under the name Ruby Riott, which I'm not making that up. So they're bringing in more girls. I mean, they brought in Nixon Newell. I really want to see, because I mean, they're gonna have to get somebody else in, because Asuka is ready. In my opinion, she is ready.
Where does she go? Right. Here's a question for you. Where does Asuka go to Raw, or does she go to SmackDown?
Knowing WWE, I don't know why, but I think they would send her to Raw. WWE and all their arrogance tends to think of Raw as the A show, when it is the most god-awful, boring 3 hours you will ever see in your life. Whereas on SmackDown, that's the funny thing. SmackDown has got a smaller roster, but they have got simultaneous women's stories going on SmackDown right now, despite having fewer women.
And less time to do it in.
Exactly. So I would like to say send her over to SmackDown, because she can make a splash there, but I think they will send her to Raw. And I could see her, I mean, that's another thing I could see. They could do a storyline where Asuka debuts, and it's almost like a repeat of history. She bulldozes Bayley, and then boom, there's your story. Is Asuka picks right back up on Raw where she left off in NXT. She just bulldozes for everyone, but I think the only difference would be this time is that you do like the Rocky storyline where she gets, or actually the Rocky 3 storyline where she gets clobbered in the beginning, and then it's the comeback, it's the training, and then going in there and having to overcome that huge obstacle by the end. So I could see them dragging Asuka goes in, plows over Bayley. Bayley starts training, making the comeback as Asuka runs a rough shot through the roster. and then finally it culminates in something like Survivor Series or something, with Bailey finally overcoming that one person she could never ever beat. I could see them doing something like that.
Probably. Yeah, I could.
And it could be because I'm a Bailey mark.
Maybe. Or I hope she doesn't get the surprise night after Mania or the second night after Mania if she's on SmackDown debut. I hope she gets video packages and vignettes building her up and actually have a fucking plan for her, not just throwing her out there because you can. Have a fucking good 6-month plan for her, because her English is not that great, so she'll need protecting a lot more than others. So I just worry. That's the same worry I have with Shinsuke Nakamura. As great as he is, he's still not the best English talker in the world. So I hope that when he gets brought up, it's video package. This is Nakamura. He ain't all about talking. There's more action, and get him straight into a program with a guy who's a great promo.
Right. LK, didn't you get the email?
What was the email?
Well, the email, I got it from WWE. They want you to be Asuka's manager, since considering you're very good at pontificating. You know, you can be her manager, and that way she doesn't have to talk. She doesn't have to speak in broken English. You can go out there and say in quite articulate British fashion how much she's going to kick your fucking head right off your fucking shoulders and become the new WWE Raw Women's Champion. I'd like to see it. LK as a manager for Asuka. Come on. Anybody else want to see that? I see your hands. Yeah, there you go. Okay. I guess I just stunned LK to silence here. Moving on here. Next, we saw some British action. Okay, apparently I've lost LK for some reason. Next, we saw Mark Andrews taking on the Bruiserweight Pete Dunne. In my opinion, this was the absolute best match of the night. These two picked up right where they left off at the UK tournament. These two met in the semifinals. However, this actually turned out to be better than what I thought, because, you know, looking at this on paper, you see Pete Dunne versus Mark Andrews. You know, you think Pete Dunne's going over. I mean, there's no way they're going to have him lose. He was like this big bully that they hyped up, and he lost in the finals. So anyway, Pete Dunne goes in and takes over, and this wound up being, like I said, the best match of the night here. These two, you're talking counters to counters. If you like good chain wrestling, you'd really, really need to watch this here. Mark Andrews did a great job of convincing me of like going, you know what, they may have Pete Dunne lose here because Pete Dunne's over and he could take a loss, but Mark Andrews might be somebody that they want to bring in, and he's a cruiserweight. They could probably bring him into 205 Live. Maybe, you know, he hits right there at the weight limit. Maybe, you know, maybe that's what they're trying to do here. And so good job for Mark Andrews for playing over to that. Andrews, he went to the top. You're talking springboard moonsault. There was the X. I like it when they went to the outside and he hit that X-plex on the ring apron. Looked absolutely just brutal. They went back into the ring. I like the joint manipulation with Pete Dunne. He caught him with a snap German suplex. Eventually, they went to it was they kept teasing the bitter end, that pump handle slam into the flatliner that Dunne does. They teased that like two, I think almost 3 times before he finally hit it. He caught him with the Japs. Andrews hit that reverse Rana. Damn near got a cover. Dunne went back to work on the fingers. Andrews hit that Slumdog Millionaire or Stundog Millionaire. Went for the shooting star press, but Pete Dunne got the knees up. Then anyway, Dunne then was successfully able to hit the bitter end, get the 1, 2, 3. That was just a really put together match. It's funny, these British guys, you know, if these guys make it to the main roster, in my opinion, they're going to get watered down. but it just really felt like a good match. It was chain wrestling. There were counters to counters. They told a good story in the ring. Mark Andrews certainly didn't look bad in defeat. In fact, Pete Dunne even looked more like a dick because if you really follow the storyline, he showed up in NXT and William Regal went over there and told him, goes, no, what you did in the UK, what you did in that tournament, you're not going to do that here. You're not going to do that at my house. And I don't know if anybody caught it, but Pete Dunne was being very, very just condescending because he shook hands all condescendingly with Mark Andrews at the beginning of the match. And even at the end, you could see that little smirk on his face as he stuck his hand out to shake Mark Andrews after he beat him. If he lost, he was going to kick the crap out of him. But Pete Dunne's going to be one of the best. If they come on, WWE, you need to sign this guy. Sign this guy, get him on NXT. He could be your lead heel. You could start. If you sign Pete Dunne, you can move up Bobby Roode. You can move up Austin Aries because now I would make Pete Dunne my lead heel. He is. I honestly think he's that good. He's completely sold me. I've only seen him in a handful of matches, but what little I've seen of him, he has really convinced me that he is the real deal. Mark Andrews, I want to see more from that. I want to see more from the UK guys. Mark Andrews is apparently a guy that they're very high on right now, and I don't blame him. He's the scrappy little underdog. But I would encourage, if you only watch one match, to please watch this one. They had Billy Kay and Peyton Royce backstage talking, with Royce hyping up her match for next week. And then next week, we're also going to see the Authors of Pain and DIY. They're going to go at it again for the NXT Tag Team Championship. Then Ty Dillinger, he talked about Sanity. He thanked Roderick Strong and No Way Jose for coming in and helping him out. What I think is kind of funny about this, and this is what I love about the fans, and this is what I love about this is what I absolutely love about NXT, is because they kind of listen to their fan base. They listen to Full Sail University. I would argue that Ty Dillinger has become a star. He's become a fan favorite. He is someone that wasn't supposed to really do anything. This was just the old guy getting his second chance, and maybe if he was lucky, he'd get up to the main roster and might have a run. Maybe make a run at something like the United States Championship. But the fans have really taken a liking to him, and that's what I love. Someone who works their ass off. People acknowledge that, and they've latched on to him. So here's Ty Dillinger, somebody that we probably shouldn't care about, but yet here he is walking in. They're treating him like a star. He talked about it. The attack. Sanity's constant attacks on him, and so I absolutely love that. And God bless Ty Dillinger. I want to see him. I want to see him move up. I want to see him become more than what he ever thought. I want this good story to keep going. I want the lesson to be, if you don't succeed, try again. Here's somebody who went in WWE, didn't work out the first time. He goes back. He works.
Apologies. I'm back. Apologies.
Oh, welcome back. Good to hear you again.
What did I miss?
I just talked about the Mark Andrews versus Pete Dunne match, and then I talked about the hype up for next week, and then the little interview they did with Ty Dillinger.
Yeah, I like that. I like the fact they're doing more stuff at the Performance Center. I really, really do. And I apologize I had to go quickly. My parents wanted to use the other side of the office really quickly to print off some paperwork. With that in mind, I did like the UK match. I hope that they get their own television show on the network. I think that'll be really fun. Put it on a Saturday, because they don't have any shows on a Saturday. So they could put it on a Saturday. They didn't have to record it live. They could pre-tape it. They could tape a bunch of tapings like they do NXT, so it won't be that costly. McGuinness and Michael Cole could do the commentary, or even find a new colour commentator. Have Nigel McGuinness and have a different colour commentator. But I did really enjoy the match. I loved there's a suplex on the apron, that suplex into the stunner. I loved the finish. It was a really red-hot finish. The crowd seemed really into it. And have you touched on the No Way Jose Bobby Roode match, or are you on that now?
No, I'm getting to that right now. Of course, as LK just mentioned, main event time, the NXT champion, the glorious Bobby Roode, taking on No Way Jose. match was okay for what it was. I think they were just building this up for the ending, and I'll get to that in just a second. Jose really taking it to Roode with some jabs. However, Bobby Roode, making reversals, and I don't think Jose really got a chance to kind of get anything going because he would always get shut down by Roode. I like the part where they sold it, where Roode, the title was Roode was in jeopardy when he tossed him up and hit him with that baseball punch, but Roode smartly rolled out of the ring. They gets back in. Roode plays possum there with being dead weight. Jose gets him back in the ring, and then just Roode out of nowhere hits Jose with the glorious DDT, gets the win. Then afterwards, he does a chop block on Jose, starts putting the boot, puts him in a single leg Boston Crab. And of course, this brings out Cassius Ohno. And then the crowd just absolutely pops. Then they kind of tease and what I liked about this was the fact that Bobby Roode didn't back down and said, you want to do a match? Okay, get a referee in here. We'll do a match. We'll do this thing right now. Goes after the knee of Ohno. Ohno fights back with some elbows. Eventually, Ohno's shoe comes off, and I like the fact that he threw the shoe at Bobby Roode. I don't know why, but I got a chuckle out of that. And then finally, he backdropped him. He went to the outside, and then he clotheslined Roode over the ropes, and that ended the segment. So I wasn't really impressed with the main event, but I guess maybe that was to be the setup for this confrontation at the end. So I think it's a good job. I think it's a good job on part of WWE to bring in someone like Ohno, the former Chris Hero, in, because I think he's a guy that I think a lot of the younger talent would benefit from working with. And I think it also frees up some of your other top talents, so you're not having to constantly have people like, Roode, Aries, Nakamura, the same 3-4 guys, constantly having to put together some kind of main event. Now this will free up some talent, at least at the top of the card.
Yeah, I completely agree. I didn't really enjoy it. I thought the main event was a bit underwhelming, kind of. Like, it was kind of very uneventful. Like, if you missed it, it didn't really matter. I was kind of shocked that goofball No Way Jose was in the main event in its own right. Like, and I touch upon the full self fuckers all the time. I always talk about how I don't like the full self fuckers. Because the way I see it, these wrestlers go out there and they get good reactions. Like, Jose does get good reactions. But they will cheer anything. I could go out with a strap on up my ass and they would cheer, chanting, holy shit, this is awesome. Okay, so that in mind, No Way Jose goes out there. He hears the "This is awesome" chant, and No Way Jose dancing to his song. He now thinks, "Oh, I'm over. I'm ready. I could do this. I can make the jump to the main roster." But then he jumps to the main roster, and there's silence. And he's thinking, "What have I done wrong? These people are to blame. These people they will cheer anything, and it's not fair. They need to be on the road touring, not doing big buildings. They need to be on the road touring." Because it's not fair on the talent. They don't know if they're over. You can't tell if you're over in the Full Sail because the turnbuckle pad is already over in the Full Sail arena. I despise that arena. Everyone and anyone can get over in that building. And that's not where you want to train your wrestlers. You want your wrestlers to try and get those casual fans.
Now, to be fair, okay, they do tour. They do go out on tours. They basically have like the A team and the B team. And I think they even have like a C team. And Jose is definitely part of those tours. So that's the reason why they record so much. They record TV tapings. They record, I think, 3-4 shows in one shot. And then the rest of that time they're out on the road. I know they go on tours, particularly over the weekends, because I know they came through Richmond one weekend. They do a shitty job at advertising it, but they do, bring them out. So to be fair, they are out touring.
Yeah, but the TV, what's the point of doing them at the Full Sail when they just cheer everything?
Well, we'll see how else, because remember, they're doing it. They're going to be doing. They did a TV taping from the University of Central Florida.
Yeah, that hopefully that goes well and they do it there more, because it's not fair on the talent, because they think they're over when they're really not. Like, No Way Jose, if he came out on Monday Night Raw on Monday night, no one would care. No one would give a fuck. No one would know who he is.
Well, but he's had great reactions. I think maybe part of the problem is that what they do is if you're a hardcore NXT fan, you get to watch them. You get to see them debut. You get to see them evolve. You get to see them basically NXT are like sculptors and the talent are like clay. You see them start to, kind of scrape and get rid of that unnecessary stuff, shape them, mold them, and you're there for that entire journey. Whereas a lot of people who watch the main roster don't watch NXT, so they don't know how to react because they haven't been a part of the story. They haven't seen them debut. They haven't seen them evolve. They haven't seen, them being molded. So that's why because they don't know how to react. And I think also maybe that's also a fault of WWE for not properly, telling the story, showcasing them, packaging them correctly, vignettes and everything. I think maybe that's part of WWE's problem, but I think that's why a lot of people, it's like the Ascension, is an example. Remember, these guys were monsters in NXT, but they sent them up to the main roster. What happens? JBL buries them like the second week on the fucking main roster, and nobody cares. They didn't show them
he
like
really hurt the Ascension.
Yeah, they didn't show them when they were demolishing every tag team that NXT could throw at them. They didn't show them.
They need to have video. They need to have good video packages, like you said, and that's what needs to happen with Nakamura.
Exactly. I mean, and that's the other thing. And plus, WWE gives up on people too soon. I mean, look at the vaudevillains. I mean, they gave up on the vaudevillains right off the gate. Oh, we don't get their gimmick. Okay, well, change something about it. No, we're not going to change anything. Well, how do you expect them to get over? Well, we don't know. I'm like, well, if you don't know, how are the fans supposed to fucking care? What do you mean you don't fucking know? I mean, it's like the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again, hoping to get a different result. I mean, think about this. Bo Dallas was the NXT champion. I mean, they found a way to make things work for him. They were like, okay, what we're doing is not working. Let's change it. And boom, he becomes NXT champion. He becomes the lead heel. And I remember that epic ladder match between him and Neville. And then he goes up to the main roster. He does the whole Bo leave gimmick, and it's not getting over. But what do? They do nothing. They don't change him. The only thing they did differently was they put him in the social outcast, where he did the same fucking shit with 3 other people who, whose fucking gimmicks didn't get the fuck over.
Yeah, Bo Dallas is a wasted opportunity.
Say again, okay?
But I said I may not be the biggest Bo Dallas fan, and I never have been, and probably never will be. But he deserves better than Groot. I think he got screwed over big time.
Mm-hmm. All right, but
have you talked about the Clash of Sono stuff?
No, yeah, we just talked about that. By the way, I do have some news here that I think you would find interesting. According to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, WWE has deals on the table for ICW to appear on the WWE network. Now, it's kind of gone back and forth, but it's reported that WWE has told ICW to quote-unquote get their house in order in regards to trademarks and music, which is a good sign that if they get all that together, ICW could appear on the WWE network. So that would be that would actually be good. Another option for wrestling fans, and anything that gets any of these guys exposure and builds up fandom, I think wrestling fans and wrestling in general will benefit.
Fight Club, which they air on their on-demand service.
Mm-hmm.
But they have their own on-demand service now. They spent a long time building that. Would they now delete that to go on the network full-time? It depends how much Dewey's willing to pay.
Well, certainly they would be making some money off of this.
Yes, not for ICW, which is a shame. But what do you make anyway?
Mm-hmm. And another thing, speaking of the UK, Sky Sports is reporting that Tyler Bate, Pete Dunne, Trent Seven, Jordan Devlin, Mark Andrews, Wolfgang, Joseph Connor, Tyson T-Bone, James Drake, Sam Gradwell, Dan Maloney, Saxton Huxley, and Tucker are scheduled to work WWE's May tour of the United Kingdom and Ireland. It'll start on Thursday, May the 4th in Glasgow, and it'll run all the way through May the 12th, where it'll end in Newcastle.
And I'm at let me have a quick look which one I'm at. I'm at the May 8th and May 9th shows, the Raw and SmackDown TV tapings. That's the one I'm at in London. So hopefully these guys, they get on 205 Live maybe. And I did write that on my notes, but I didn't really get to talk about it much. I really think Mark Andrews would be a great fit for 205 Live.
Yeah, as I mentioned, I think he hits right at the weight limit of 205.
Perfection, perfect. Him and Sin Cara and Kalisto need to go to 205 Live big time. Especially Sin Cara. Guy's wasted. I meant Kalisto. I get those two mixed up because they're both very irrelevant. What else we got going on in the news? While we're here for Wrestle AM?
Let's see. We've got more news here with Naomi. Apparently, here's some more details about her knee injury. Wrestling Observer Newsletters reporting she actually injured her knee doing the moonsault at the Elimination Chamber. Now, they're believing this injury is similar to what Seth Rollins is currently going through. It's more serious than they originally expected, but they're not expecting the recovery to take an extended period of time. It's kind of iffy if she'll be back in time for WrestleMania, though. She's kind of on the bubble, which makes sense why they took the championship off of her.
Yeah, I didn't agree with how, not the fact they did it, I didn't agree with how they crowned a new champion. I really, really didn't. I thought that, like, Liv Roadman Morgan lost last week, and she's rewarded with NXT Women's title.
Mm-hmm.
They consistently do that. The whole of WWE. This isn't just nitpicking on Raw. This is Raw. This is SmackDown. This is NXT. Wins and losses don't matter anymore, which is why people don't care about the matches. You could lose a match and get a number one contenders match. How's that fair? I now don't care when they have another match because, if they lose, they get a fucking title shot anyway, depending on who you are. I fucking hate it. I hate it. Wins and losses should mean something. And they don't, and it pisses me off.
Absolutely. Let's see, there's a lot of rumors flying around here that, this is a follow-up to what we did last night on our SmackDown review. Remember how I blasted WWE for that lame finish at the Battle Royal between Luke Harper and AJ Styles? Well, apparently WWE hasn't decided one way or the other to include Luke Harper in SmackDown's WrestleMania World Title match. So this was to extend it out so they could make up their mind. Also, they're considering turning Bray Wyatt face, which I think would be a complete, a different way. Because everybody think, including me, think, okay, well, Randy Orton is just using this to kind of get Bray Wyatt one-on-one, get rid of the Wyatt family, make Bray Wyatt vulnerable. But they could do it where they pull switcheroo and they make Bray Wyatt the face out of this, make him the victim. Let's see, over in TNA news, Mike Bennett and Maria have re-signed with TNA, and apparently jail pretty Josh Matthews is being a dick again, and they're upset about Josh Matthews because let's just say he wasn't very happy with something that somebody put on social media, so he told a podcast, you should go shoot yourself, and I know.
Kocosports.net, anytime I can bash Josh Matthews in a public forum, I will. And I uploaded an article about Josh Matthews claiming he's the best play-by-play announcer in the world, and I actually included the video of him saying it. So if you go to Kocosports.net, it's on. I think it'll be on if you click wrestling on the top. Scroll down a little bit, you'll find it. And he legit claims to be and believes he is the best play-by-play announcer in the world. When I've come on here for the past 2 years saying I watch a show on mute because I don't want to listen to his voice.
All right, and okay, I'm going to leave it on this one because I figure I'm not going to top this, but this is the best part of wrestling news this morning. Okay, apparently the, shall we say, internet adult entertainment company, Brazzers, is making a porn parody of the Montreal Screwjob. And I'm not making this up right now.
I saw this.
It's called the F Job, or maybe the Fuck Job. And let's see. I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time with. Okay, Mia Malkova. She is going to play the part of Shawn Michaels. Rami Rain is going to play the part of Bret Hart, and Johnny Castle is going to play the part of Vince McMahon. I think you see where this is going here.
Yeah.
I think it was Romy Reign actually tweeted out a picture of them fully clothed, by the way. But,
Yeah, I saw that. That's the picture I saw.
but Mia Makova is dressed up like Shawn Michaels. Romy Reigns dressed up as Bret Hart. Um, Johnny Castle's dressed up like Vince McMahon. It's freaking hilarious. Oh, it's on I think it's on Romy Reigns' Facebook or Twitter page if anybody wants to check that out. I think me and you we need to do a review of this as soon as
You're
possible.
obsessed. You did a recap of another Sunny.
No,
What was it called?
yes, I did Sonny's porno. Oh my god, that
Did you watch all of it?
I fast forwarded through it because here's the thing: the whole purpose of an adult film is to generate a response and excite the viewer. I was repulsed the entire time because, as I said on that review, which I got generated a shit ton of heat for. I don't know why, because I'm like, God damn it, it's Boom Boom. What the fuck do you expect? I'm gonna fucking go there. So I watched that, and it was like the worst thing ever. Because let me tell you something. Not that I would ever do porn, but if I ever just had to, I had to get this money, or the mob was gonna rub me out or something, I would at least be considerate of the viewer. I would do things like, I don't know, first of all, I would shower, I would shave, I would take, care to groom my body. I'd maybe get a tan, work out a little bit. Sonny did none of this. Sonny just put on some shitty wrinkled up lingerie and said, "Here I am." And then I'm sorry, but when you see a woman getting plowed, you don't want to hear, "Oh yeah, baby, that's good. Yeah, yeah." No, you don't want to. No, because that's instant boner killer. So if y'all want to see that review, just go look in the archives here on the channel. But hopefully, Mia Malkova and Romy Reign will do God, they can't do any worse. So yeah, hopefully that'll be better.
If you can get me a link, I refuse to pay for it. But if you get me a link, I'll watch it. No, but I refuse to pay for it.
All right. Well,
but we'll get a live comments before we wrap it up.
Okay, it's 2017. I can give you $0 and say, okay, here's $0. I want you to come back with as much porn as you can. And you know how much you come back with? Okay. The correct answer is all of it.
Rick 1982 says, "Good morning from Brooklyn. Will we ever see Nakamura versus Ono match down the road?"
Don't rule anything out.
I expect so. I thought that's what they were going down because I remember at the last tapings, it wasn't me, but I know Ono made a return, and it was with Nakamura. Who else from the UK Championship Tournament will make their NXT debut?
Well, I think all the people that I just mentioned in that story will eventually pop up on NXT because they're going to want to promote these guys, so that way we'll watch their UK television show or UK, the UK tour. So yeah, I can see that.
And will the UK Championship be defended on an NXT takeover event? That's a possibility. And do you think breaking up the Lucha Dragons was a bad idea?
In the short term, no. In the long term, yes. Short term, no, because Kalisto got a United States championship reign out of it. However, once he lost it, he's done nothing. Sin Cara has done absolutely nothing. But I also think it also helped Kalisto because remember, Sin Cara got a little heat on him for his backstage scuffles. And I got a feeling if they were still together in a tag team, Kalisto would pay the price for that too because they're part of a package deal. It's like when I think it was Connor got busted for the wellness policy violation. I mean, Victor wasn't even a part of that. He had nothing to do with it. But I think they never appeared on television during that time. And in fact, I think the only thing that Victor did was appear in house shows as part of a three-way. I think it was the only thing that he did. So I think them breaking up actually helped Kalisto's career. But in the long term, I mean, neither one of them have done anything separately. So at least maybe together as a tag team. But then again, they'd get lost in the shuffle, I think, on both Raw and SmackDown. So it's kind of a mixed bag. But overall, I think they would be more marketable as a tag team because nobody seems to care about them as individuals.
Exactly. So if you care 5% about Sin Cara, 7% of Kalisto, put them together, you care 12% about the Lucha Dragons. Look at that. Jesus. Anything else in the news, or are we Are we
No,
all done?
I think that's going to do it. I'm going to show everybody why I'm the best in the business. I'd like to tell everybody to check us out at Kocosports.com. That's Koco Sports.com. It's your home for all combat sports. It's where the world goes to kick ass. And most importantly, where it's okay to be a passionate fan. You can also subscribe to us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Let's see, the Raw review in the can, SmackDown review in the can, NXT review in the can. We have LK did the New Japan Pro Wrestling Togi Makabe 20th anniversary show reunion or excuse me.
It was shit. But I recommend everyone to check that review out.
LK, you got to learn how to sell this stuff. I will tell you exactly what I thought about that show, but you have to go subscribe to our channel. Go find it and click on it. I'll tell you what I thought, uncut, uncensored, beautiful. That's how you sell it, son. You just can't go, well, it was shit. No, well, fuck. Now nobody's going to watch it.
The review wasn't shit. The review was very good because the show was shit. There was nothing to talk about, so we just talked about, Hot Fuzz, I Am Legend. We talked about films, UFC 2, why Honma's a piece of shit. Lots of things. Very funny show. Check it out.
See, there you go. That's how you turn it. See, now you totally redeemed yourself. Now, to hear all that, you got to click on that. We're going to have an NXT review coming up. Of course, we're doing No, Impact.
Oh, okay. Yeah, cool.
Got to do Impact review.
When do you want to do that?
Well, I'll see what my schedule is like, and then we'll make it happen.
Because I might be able to do it tomorrow at this time with you again if you want, or are you at work at this time?
No, I'll be up.
So do you want to do an Impact review this time tomorrow?
Well, if I'm available, yes, absolutely. I'll be able to know when I wake up in the morning.
Okay, cool. Hit me up. If not, I'll go solo tomorrow night.
Absolutely. So that's going to do it for us. I want to thank everybody for joining us live, everybody for the live comments. So stay classy, stay safe, and boom just went bang, and I am over.